that. They have lots of CC, which always just kind of feels easier to be able to maneuver. So definitely feels like NIP have set themselves up for success in terms of that ease of execution. And when we're talking about, okay, Dream being someone who's enabled to potentially have a big performance, still, when you look at who the carry's meant to be, it is Photic. And when Photic has his hands on Xayah, at least on a champion that definitely has the ability to do so, even running the Ghost, so going to be playing for those team fights matched by Gala. Battle the mids, battle the AD carries. We don't care about top machine. Invincible versus Breathe. I can wait another day. That sucks. Why does every top lane matchup feel like that these days?
I know, right? It really does. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. Unfortunately, tank players wanted to be able to play the game, so Riot had to make changes to items, made them too efficient. Just how it is.
You know, I also do love. I don't know if you've noticed it when you cast, but like our observers still love panning over top lane. Like, we'll just be there for like 30 seconds watching two top laners kind of trade HP meaninglessly, and it, you know, at least meaninglessly for us. It means something for them. But for us,
I was gonna say, like, I've definitely had games where our series where like we're looking at top and nothing's happening, and we stay there for like 45, 50 seconds, and there's just nothing happening, but we don't go anywhere else. I mean, maybe all our observers are top mains, you know, maybe they're very interested in how this very stale top lane matchup can go, but it's unfortunately the nature of the beast when you only have small adjustments throughout the split. We should have our mid-season update though after MSI, so that's fun, you know, hopefully. That's an interesting kind of thing. What do you hope changes? That's a good question. What do you want to see differently?
I don't know. Like, I am in the camp that I feel like there are too many big and like wide sweeping changes in patches, kind of going back to last year. Feels like Riot are always trying to correct something very large. So who knows? Maybe, you know, I want to see a second Rift Herald added. Change the game completely.
A second. As in, like, not a second one after the first one. You mean like two Rift Heralds?
Two Rift Heralds on the map. Add a second little, like, alcove somewhere in Rift. You know, just put it in the mid lane. Just put it in the mid lane.
No. Even better. You put the two Rift Heralds. They no longer spawn in Rift Herald pits. They spawn like kindred marks. Where the first one either goes to the top scroll or the bottom scroll. It either goes to top alcove or bottom alcove. And at like 3 minutes. Like 3 minutes 30.
I am down for adding more RNG and pissing people off, but Shadow, we need to keep our eyes on him because he's not looking for. I mean, he is actually looking for RNG right now as a Breathe. Very far forward.
Breathe. Yeah, he has popped his Ghost, as has Invincible. Breed's going to have to be in a bit of a 1v2. No real way to get out of this one here. Gets hit by the Q. It's knocked back a little bit as well, and that should be a pretty easy first blood. Good pathing from Shadow. Completely skipped his topside camps to make that work.
Yeah, circumvents the ward as well. Goes for the wraparound. Breathe, just not expecting that one to come in so soon. And now Shadow gonna be fine. Just go back to farming his top side jungle. Or to where on the opposite side way, not too many opportunities present. You can see they're doing a nice job of. It looks like a Ming hovering over to just making sure that he has the safety to look for that. Just gonna quickly realize there's no camps here. Can get some vision. Vision's always cool. You don't agree,
right, Jordan?
You don't think Vision's cool?
A little bit of action. I mean, I kind of feel your pain a little bit in the sense of, you know, I knew nothing was gonna happen from that bot lane, so I didn't even bother to try to play it because that's just the way the meta is right now. It's a little stagnant in the first few minutes of the game. Does feel like it means kind of a little less than maybe beforehand. You're not seeing teams. Oh, do you remember 2019 and FBX kind of immortalized in that particular meta? It's like, oh, you just 4-man dive bot all the time, just all the time, and you just go for stuff like that. I miss that, you know what I mean? I miss that kind of, like, you know, high risk, high reward strategy that used to come out from, especially from the Chinese teams.
You know what FPX immortalized for me was the game in summer regular season. It might have been the last one. 2019 summer regular season, people. Doinby played jungle and Tien played mid. Doinby played Skarner. I think Tien played Aatrox. That's what my mind tells me. And
I feel like that's correct.
I can't remember who they beat, but Might have even been another top team. I don't know why my soul is telling me it was top esports, but yeah, that's what I remember. And funnily enough, going back to your point, even in that game, even with the role swaps, they still just kept diving bot.
Yeah, it was just the way it was. It was dive bot, make sure the enemy AD carry is as useless as possible. I think we saw it actually in the LEC the other day. I think it was Astralis diving SK's bot lane all the time. We do sometimes see it. I do see it a couple of times. We have the Galio Camille combinations coming out, and we do have it sometimes.
Angel
miss it, though.
Cleanly dodging everything right there from Dream. Or Dream missing. It depends if you want to be a pessimist or if you just want to, you know, cheer on Angel. But speaking of that, we're getting to the point.
Glass half full.
We're getting to the point, Machine. Ulti's coming online for mid jungle. Still waiting on a bit of experience 4-way and Shadow, but that's when we can really start to expect to see things happen, right? Especially for Shadow and Dream. Shadow now even gonna jump on way. I think he should be able to get out, but nice damage.
Decent damage there. They did know that Shadow was in the area, so curious to see that Wei did start off this dragon. It's a little bit risky to kind of go for right now when you know the enemy jungler's in the vicinity, but there's no contest coming out for Shadow. But the thing is, RNG don't know that just yet. Gala took a bad trade himself. Yeah, they can't really take this dragon. It's unfortunate there. I feel like RNG being a bit slower on the rotation there. They finally catch out Shadow, but can they get back into that dragon pit to get this early dragon? That is the big question. And, woo! Dream. He's not having a dream right now. It's slowly turning into a nightmare. Angel kind of finessing on the NIP mid laner.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. We've seen it multiple times with him out trading him, going for the distortion. Dream not able to connect the charm, and then a lot of times Angel even just having the ability to sidestep the Q on the way out. So he's doing a great job. And Dream, like I said, Dream and Shadow coming in. Cease and desist and Spirit Rush. You just have so many ways to close so much distance, catch one person out, and really start to break open the map. These are the members that need to step up. Shadow doing a great job fighting that first blood, but once that cease and desist comes online, which it looks like it should soon, that's when I'd really love to see them, especially hovering towards those side lanes, potentially starting to get Photic ahead in that bot. Because locking down Angel, though possible, and you can go for it, I mean, the fact that he'll have his distortion, his mimic, his flash up, I think it'll make it very hard to be able to take him down. Maybe they have the damage, right? Cease and desist can then chain into the charm, and maybe it's there, but I feel like going for potentially bot lane, or even working our way to the enemy jungle, trying to get on top of Wei, is more of a surefire option.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks at, you know, you have the buy into something like the Zeri. You want to be using that in the team fights to kind of lock down Gala to make sure he's not getting away. That's why we generally see a lot of the time when a Vi is picked us on the enemy side, the AD carry of the team against it doesn't really take cleanse. Obviously, cleanse is very powerful somewhere, but you can't cleanse a cease and desist. It's something that you're just going to have to accept. So going with the Ghost to try and maybe gain some distance after the fact seems to be the more favorable of the options. Rift Herald secured here by NIP, and apart from that first blood on that top side, it is at an 8.5 minutes of sweet FA in this particular matchup. It's been a slow one, and honestly, I feel like both teams are very happy with that. I do think NIP are going to be a little bit happier to kind of take the team fights after, you know, the kind of team fights kind of come in after the laning phase is done and dusted, because, like I said, they just have easier execution on the way they can engage on fights. So we now know where Shadow wants to go for. How do RNG kind of look for it right now? Because they've got access to their ultimates. How do they want to try and, or who do they want to try and focus in here and try and get going?
I think they can just keep looking to play around that mid lane. I mean, you've been out trading Dream consistently. Even if we just get pressure game come out from Wei and you get a Spirit Rush early on, maybe potentially even force out a flash and commit the Cyclone, can look for the repeat opportunities, prevent him from being able to move and look for like the Spirit Rush and cease and desist combo on the sides that we were hitting on. So I think RNG have a few opportunities right now, and they have great mission control towards that bot side. So they'll know if anything goes on, and if they can really find some heavy trades on Dream like right now, they can even look to pivot down and punish Photic and Zhuo.
Yeah, this LeBlanc was quote-unquote countered by the, you know, I'd say, well, picked into, you know, kind of blind, but They have got plenty of power with them available in that mid lane. As we see Breed just finding a mid game a little bit more difficult. This is where the Gwen does tend to have a little bit of a more of a kind of a harder time, I suppose, when they're not quite at the Riftmaker, not really getting the healing coming out for themselves, and they're waiting for that first item completion. Of course, Invincible rushing into those Merc Treads makes those trading very much more favorable in his favor, but so far, so good for NIP, you got to admit. You know, again, they are coming in as a team that is knocked out of playoffs, but, you know, the 3 Ps, no playoffs, no pressure, no problem, because they are looking a little bit more comfortable coming into RNG today, and Shadow has been a little bit more active, in my opinion, comparatively, even though it has only been that literally one
Yeah,
kill.
it's been... I guess he has been a little bit more proactive because, yeah, we haven't really seen RNG even opt into trying for anything, but they are finally going for the play that we hit on. Shadow and Dream making their way down, but RNG are conscious of it, spot it out, and with them bringing over,
difficult.
We're gonna see once again no action. This is a peaceful game, you know. Don't look for the violence.
Yeah.
Invite thy enemy over for some tea, have a nice conversation.
This is a Christian movie. This ain't Die Hard. This ain't your action Marvel movies. But now we're gonna see some action. See, all we have to do is jinx it. Is we're gonna see both top laners going head-to-head. Needlework used as the all-out does come in for Invincible. And just as quickly as it started, it fades away.
It's fine. We have Rift Herald going to time out soon, so NIP going to have to look somewhere with that. You can see the Rakan right now kind of hovering around mid. Pings are coming out towards bot, which I think maybe makes a bit more sense because we've seen how heavily Dream's getting pressured. I don't know how much like getting gold on him really means anything, especially when he himself hasn't really been able to take turret plates, but with just how close they are to mid, this might be the only option, but they're going to get answered.
Angel gets fully engaged upon here. They're going to try and maybe use the Cyclone to disengage. As you can see there, Angel just keeps himself alive with the decoy as well. There's so many different versions of all the different champions, and RNG turned that one right the way around.
Wild growth from Ming coming in clutch to make sure that they get those kills. But yeah, the damage not necessarily being there. Split focus definitely, as we can see both way in Angel. Chunk to half HP. But RNG at the end of the day are going to be able to win it out. That leads into a Divine Sunder for Wei. We already saw the Leandries on Angel. Breathe as well had just picked up
They lost the
Riftmaker in top lane, so... Oh, I didn't even notice they were angling. Yeah. That was the whole point of angling for this play, right? They were looking to drop it mid. We see the CC come out, but good Cyclone. Shutting them out. Dream not really able to connect any good damage. And I don't know if his charm just got wasted on a target that was already locked down, but again, the wild growth comes in, prevents Wei from going down, and to make sure that RNG are able to return with those 2 kills.
And I just realized there, so Shadow finds himself in the pit. Wei is in a bit of a 1v2, considering the dragon is aggroing him for the moment. Shadow should be able to queue back over the wall and reset that dragon's aggro, so not going to be too much there. But I just noticed as well, both LeBlanc and Wukong have clones, have decoys to be able to try and make those fights a little bit more. They got all of a sudden we're against a 2v3 in favor of NIP, who turned into a 4v2 very, very quickly. And speaking of which, there's going to be a little bit of a lockdown onto Angel, who's going to have to double the store his way out and should just be fine. That's kind of what you mentioned there, Lyric, a little bit earlier, is that yes, you can put in pressure onto Angel, but is it really going to lead into a kill? Probably not.
Even more so now that he has that stopwatch in his inventory, so...
No!
Invincible?
Invincible needs 1 or 2 more hits, but it's so hard walking into the needlework. He looks for the knockback, but he's not quite able to find it. And this is NIP getting control over mid lane because of that trade, and that means they're going to be able to pick up the dragon and stop the stacking of RNG.
Machine, look at the minimap though. Look at Angel. Angel right now, he's on the hunt. He's a predator. He's a giant saber-toothed tiger. Look, oh, never mind. He ate anything.
I was gonna say, I was like, I don't want to interrupt you. You're having such a fun time with it right now, you know. Let him have his moments.
Okay. Look at Dream. He's a large saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah. A lot of tigers here, as we can see. Breed almost certainly going to be going down here. Just popped himself into his own hallowed miss. Ooh, nice little fancy footwork there, but it's only a matter of time before the W gets popped. The Q comes in, the auto attacks do their job. Nice equalization of the kills here for NIP. 2-2, gold lead is equal, dragons are equal, and at the moment it is a very equal game. Take 2 for Shadow, as this time around he might be able to use Shelly.
I feel like that's a death that really should never come from Breathe with the knowledge they had of the situation in mid lane. But yeah, gonna see if the Herald can be contested. Wei trying to make his way over. does get here in time. Cyclone's up, and yeah, just scaring NIP off. Shadow might go for the steal.
Oh, he 10 HP. Wei missed it at 10 HP, and that's an unfortunate situation there for the RNG jungler. He is going to have to get the wild growth on top of him and his flash to make sure he doesn't die. But that is just a very unfortunate mistime there on the smite from Wei, and that means that NIP still get themselves the Rift Herald. They still get themselves that global objective should they want to use it in the next few minutes.
I guess that'll be the question, right? Sadly for NIP,
I mean, I have to ask.
Yeah, if they're able to find a window to use it this time. Last time around, they waited so long. I guess they were set on trying to make a play around mid, and they weren't able to move their bot lane over. Dream was losing on mid lane, so it took them so long to get going, but this time with Zhuo having it.
Oh, that was really, really nice. Gala will not be falling down. Photic actually might be losing his own life there. No flash available to him, and Gala says, that's how you flash over the wall. It will be traded 1 for 1, and the game will still remain in equal standing.
I mean, he does end up denying away from Photic by going for that play. So ultimately net positive for Gala coming out. Will be able to buy his Immortal Shield bow. So going to be having more power, more sustained in that lane for if any of those trades do come out from the feathers. And Machine Rift Herald going to get placed out.
Hooray! There she is. She will finally get it. I don't think they'll gain anything off of this. Tower shouldn't go down from just one charge, and there's going to be plenty of reinforcements here for Angel to make sure that the Rift Herald and the wave does not get pushed any further. So do get a little bit of damage, but it's all that it is. It's just a bit of chip damage there. And it's actually not even that low where you could really hard force. But let's have a look at the replay here, because again, Photic actually does really nicely here to land the double feathers coming back and catch both of them off guard with the stun.
Yeah, goes with it flashes to guarantee that when the knockup then comes out, but not able to keep running down Gala, who did use that ulti, just putting out so much damage down and flashes in to be able to finish it off. A bit tragic. Again, playing it so well, but I mean, once the Zeri gets going, getting the on-hit, getting the movement speed stacked, it, yeah, just a menace to play against. And Gala's showing why. I mean, hell, I believe it's the highest presence champion we have in the LPL in this patch as well. And we understand why teams love this champion.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen, like, you know, multiple times where the Zeri just pops the ultimate and gets the stacking going, can just chase you down with that ghost, and just so much mobility available to her. But again, see what either team wants to kind of go for right now. Minute till Dragon spawns, and it is a Cloud Soul, so fairly significant, I would argue.
I request then, so for the Dragon fight, can you cast it like an Auctioneer?
Oh, okay. You know what? If there's a fight, I'll try my absolute best. That's an interesting challenge to kind of bring myself into this. But we're
okay, go for it.
Fight already. I'm gonna try and make it work. We're going to see. No, I can't even start from that particular one. That one ended. That was no fight. That ended before it started. That came in at the bottom price, and they just said yes, sold.
The pick and side lanes going over. Finally seeing some of the teamwork between the Vi and the Ahri that we were hitting on earlier to make sure that they get something going. And Invincible's been doing a nice job in this top lane. He consistently went out.
Yeah, he's looking for the Mist will give you a little bit of resistances, but he can still hit you while you're in it. Won't get the knockback. It's 1v1. One more auto attack for either of these top laners. Would have been enough.
It looked like Breathe didn't even expect the amount of damage that was coming out from him, or he potentially could have even just like gone forward and tried to finish that one off. And by then, it was in such an awkward place. Both top laners are like, we need to get the hell out of Dodge. And nothing comes out from it at the end of the day. Like you said, dragging up 5 seconds. Breathe now has no TP. Invincible does.
I was just about to say, that feels like a weird play to make there for Breathe. There's no TP for him now to try and join this. So if Ksante decides to jump in on this, it'll be a funnel auctioneer coming in of this. But NIP did get the pick onto Way, but it was a little bit early. So
TP's coming
RNG
in.
now. Yeah, TP is there. That's going to be Dream and Invincible on the flank there. Way a little bit isolated away from his team. They want to try and have their cake and eat it. We're going to see just a straight up force from NIP coming out. No fight to be had, no options to be done.
I heard you building up into it as well.
I was trying, but it wasn't to be.
Come on, you guys can do it.
Airfire.
Let's
go.
go.
We're going to see a full engage coming in. They're going to get themselves on top of the Cyclone. We're going to see him once, going twice. Not going to quite get himself decoy. We're going back into the thing, but nothing was sold.
See, you don't have to go.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying my hardest.
These teams are fine taking it slow and steady. NIP, they have their 2 Drakes, they have their Xayah getting items. RNG, they have a gold. They have their Zeri. Getting up there is ooh, Shadow. I thought he was gonna get baited. Angel doing a nice job waiting in the wings, being patient on that one, but ultimately, Shadow is gonna be like, this does feel a little too good to be true, with Wei just committing to try to get this while my mid laner is pushing out in bot.
Does definitely feel it. And kind of waiting for... I don't know, man. I'm waiting for something, you know? I'm waiting for the big moment. Actually, an interesting little put to kind of bring up, actually, right now. I think it's actually a curious one. We're not going to see it as of the graphic on the bottom, but Shadow is going towards a Divine Sunderer. He is not going towards that Radiant Virtue, which we have seen so often on something like a Vi, which is just so much more kind of, you know, standard on her, considering, you know, the active that gives you the 15% extra health when you go in on your ultimate just feels like a much more natural progression. But Shadow's saying, no, look at me. I am the carry. I've got the most kills in the game, and I will be the one to do the damage. Yeah,
no strong Healy item coming in for him, but will... You reminded us today of that the other day.
I did. Because it was just like, you guys were sitting on it for so long, you and yourself and Munchables were like, what healed him? What is this? Like, this is crazy. And I was like, this one, guys. He's like, yeah, big, strong, OP Healy item. And you weren't wrong. You were not wrong.
Shadow, maybe going to put this Divine Sunderer to use. Again, really trying to hunt down Wei with the damage he has.
He does have some pretty significant damage. Cyclone going to knock Shadow up twice. That's a Black Cleaver difference. You can see there, Wei got slowly taking more and more damage as his armor started to become shredded. And that's a tower here, and NIP are gaining a little bit of momentum right now. It doesn't look it in terms of the score, but you can feel that the moves, the way the game is being played, it's RNG kind of on the back foot.
And I want to highlight how NIP are able to make plays like this, because look at that bot wave. That bot wave from RNG had just hit bot tower. So NIP pretty much consciously gave that up. They gave up pressure in mid. You can see Angel just push that one out right now. That was crashing in, and they just committed to overloading the top side to be able to make that work, saying, hey, we don't care if we miss a few CS, if we can kind of turn the cogs of the game forward, get some pressure down, get some deep vision in, and they've been doing a nice job of doing that, playing as this 4-man tour.
Trying to defend this mid lane with their lives right now. Again, Breathe getting caught out a little bit. He'll get knocked up, taken out, nothing you can do. And this Gwen has been honestly not that great. It has really been exposed by NIP. It really hasn't done a hell of a lot of anything. And that Wei in a hell of a lot of trouble. Does get caught out by the charm on the back end of that Spirit Rush, but nothing else comes of it. How in the hell did Angel land that one onto Dream? I'm not quite sure, but eventually the mid lane tier 1 will be taken down, and this is kind of what we're going back to from earlier and saying that the ease of execution is just very much in favor of NIP. RNG have to have so many things go in their favor in order to have their competition just compete against what NIP have brought to the table.
I want to point out, though, that RNG haven't really fallen behind in gold just because of the CS advantages that they've been able to find. 30 CS in the mid lane. We had a 20 CS advantage in top as well until Breathe had died here, and we saw Ksante pick up the wave. But walks over ward. This like, I feel like Breathe should have expected this because, right, NIP just committed to a play on top side. They path back down towards mid. Even on the way up, you would expect wards to have come out from NIP to control that territory in top side jungle to be able to take that tier 1 turret.
Oh, going in again, Lyric. Seeing Wei getting just 1v1 right now. Has to use the Cyclone just defensively. Shadow forced to flash away as the rest of RNG come in. But you can see Shadow, why he went for this Divine Sunderer. He is so much scarier in a 1v1 against Wei. And Wei just can't really do anything. He's using the Cyclone defensively every single time. But we talked about it earlier, that's your only real engage tool is RNG.
A lot having to be done, I think, by Angel. Because sure, for RNG, like you can see Breathe getting picked off, Wei not able to find an impact of Shadow, constantly singling him out in these duels before fights happen. And sure, Gala's going to be the big late game carry, but a LeBlanc, you have windows like this to kind of get things in your favor before a fight happens, right? You see LeBlanc function a lot as kind of a poke mage and get that damage off, kind of give yourselves a number advantage just from the fact that the enemy health bars are so low that they can't commit everyone to a fight. So I feel like this is where Angel's really going to have to shine. because they're going to keep looking for it.
Good call there from NIP. They're trying to just kind of see if they could maybe do a two-man dragon there, but immediately once RNG got that information, they started moving towards that Baron, so they gave it up a little bit just to make sure they weren't losing off on the much bigger objective, as neither team on soul point just yet, but it would be soul point for NIP. I mentioned earlier that Cloud Soul would be fairly good for a team that is very reliant on kind of keep the chase going. You pop that ultimate and you get that extra move speed from things like Shadow, and of course the Ahri and the Ksante get a huge amount of benefit from that, so see what NIP can do. RNG not willing to let that one go just too much, too little, too late. So they want to try and contest as much as they possibly can, but I don't think they can. I mean, we're seeing this time and time again with RNG in this composition. It just feels like they want to contest, they want to try and look for something, but they just can't.
No, they don't feel comfortable yet. Still, I guess, just trying to get more gold onto Gala before they feel confident looking for that one. And just knowing how strong NIP's members are right now, they have vision control over top side, so hoping that they can find some sort of cheeky play off of this. Maybe able to run, but even then, like, we've seen so little action, you haven't even been able to force any summoners, right? So, oh, Shadow running in once again.
I mean, Angel has to go golden. Shadow going to go use his own stasis as well. Way using Cyclone to try and help out his mid laner, but he shall pay for the sins of Angel. It can be your angel or your devil, as we can see Gala forcing to kind of just completely disengage from Invincible, but we'll put down a fair bit of damage back into the top laner of NIP. And with that Ghost kind of keeping him in a fairly decent move speed, will be wearing off just now, and Baron's going to be started off. It's a 4v5. Breed still has his Ghost and his Needlework. Invincible off on the side. Angel needs to be very careful as well of how he takes this fight. There is a Leandri's Torment, or Leandri's Anguish on Angel, so he will do damage. And speaking of doing damage, Baron down to 3,000. Photic goes up into the feathers. They can try and maybe make this one work. He all out to bring Breed into the pit, but that's not what you wanted. Invincible delivered the top laner straight on top of the jungler, but a charm lands on the Gala, and that's going to be a huge saving grace for NIP. It looked like they may have lost absolutely everything, but that charm saves it all.
NIP almost throw everything away there. Breathe. I even believe they managed to get into the pit before the Invincible ult came out, but then Invincible, like, even bringing him further into the pit to take down Shadow. But then Dream able to connect the CC, making sure everything doesn't go awry. Because that went from, okay, NIP flip Baron, NIP, tragic mistake with that one. You should have rethought that decision into maybe now RNG can get this objective from how low it got. But we're going to see here, Breathe running them down. But no, actually, yeah, I guess it was just Invincible bringing him into the pit straight away. And that Needlework doing significant damage. Again, look how low that Baron is. We're going to see, though, that charm from Dream changed everything. And sure, Wei wasn't up, so it still would have been risky to commit to. But whether it's, committing to the kills, the fact that you now have numbers advantage, or even just thinking, hey, we have enough damage to get this one down. I think it was a 2K, so actually maybe that is overzealous, and you think that they could just do that without Smite with 3 members in front of them. But point is, they were in an advantageous position.
Very much so. Zhuo, he gets caught out by a little bit of CC, and that is the power of the LeBlanc. One small moment there for RNG to catch themselves back up. As Baron might be available for them now. They're going to go for it one more time. Shadow puts himself behind the pit. There isn't a real great vision control right now for RNG. They're kind of taking this as a point where they have to go for it right now. They don't really have a choice, and already we're seeing an engage there onto Angel, who does get himself away. Invincible in the front line, but he can't really join back onto his team. Shadow jumping onto Breed, but I don't think Breed is the one you want now. With Invincible dead, your front line is very much diminished right now, and with Breed just kind of keeping everybody away off the back of this pit. Photic flashes away. Shadow does as well, but Shadow getting snip, 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 just like paper, and RNG just find themselves with a Baron.
And like you said, Shadow going on to Breathe there, I think was so questionable. He cannot win that 1v1 against Gwen. We've seen, sure, he can win it up against Wei, but look at the items that Breathe has in his inventory. Incredibly strong, even if he did get set behind early on from kind of how he was playing lane, playing so far forward, getting picked off, but still going to be stronger in that instance. We're going to see here Zhuo wanting to find a reset and walking forward as well. Look at where the other members of NIP are on the mini-map. Like, Xayah is nowhere nearby. Sure, Dream's here, but Ksante not able to join in. That leads into this play on Baron. RNG want to fight here. They don't necessarily want to flip the Baron. They're trying to force them in, and they find the initial engage onto the LeBlanc. The mobility there. We see the other big issue is, like you highlighted, Shadow jumps on a Breed. He isn't going to be able to do anything. And it feels like these are two big ones. The people you focus the Gwen and the LeBlanc. The one with mobility who's easily able to escape. And yeah, Breathe, who at this
point...
point...
And a Death Cap Gwen.
...is pretty much a sustained tank with how much healing he has.
Yeah, I mean... Just draining all your resources there into two of the not exactly ideal carries meant that Gala was just free to continue what he wanted to do. You see now 3 items available for most carries in this game, to be perfectly honest. Finally, a stopwatch for Wei, making it a little bit harder for him to be bursted out in this next potential fight. There's Soul available for NIP in 10 seconds, but they're just going to jump straight into Gala. They listened to your advice, and they finally decided that they weren't going to throw all their resources at the very easily to kite away champions. But Breathe is on a side lane here with Baron and with the Death Cap. They will destroy towers. So yes, you may lose the soul, but they're going to gain at least an inhibitor from this.
And RNG is still going to put some pressure on them. They're going to try and hover around, threaten the fact that they can look for a steal and keep them in the area. But this means NIP decided to engage.
All out, goes in onto Ming, who flashes back over the wall to make sure he does not go down. The inhibitor has gone down on this. Breed is still going. Breed is ending the game. Breed is actually going to end the game. He's going to get a Nexus turret at least, maybe even another one, as there's only Invincible to really deal with him right now. Everyone's trying to reset, but RNG are saying, look, if we can just keep everyone interested, we can end the game ourselves. They're not going to be able to do it right now, but that was risky business there from NIP. Yes, you get the soul, but you lose a hell of a lot.
Had Invincible not managed to get away, they probably could have done it. You saw RNG there canceling backs. Wei specifically jumped over the pit, and I think it was Dreams maybe. He canceled someone who was looking for that reset. Very clear what they wanted to go for, but still, Soul going over towards NIP. You have some pretty decent champions for the Cloud Soul to come out as well. We're going to be able to take advantage of those buffs, but we've seen now that RNG, the Gwen specifically, huge team fighting monster. NIP have ways to deal with Gala, they have ways to take out the Zeri, and that numbers advantage might be enough to flip it in their favor, but now having to constantly worry about this open bot in him is going to be such an annoyance.
Like that from Angel, just trying to use his mobility there to make something work. But now Shadow may be able to jump on the Gala. Got the several shields, several hundred health worth of shields when he combos in with the Lulu. And of course the Bloodthirster being stacked up as well. But bit by bit, little by little, no one can really deal with the Gwen. So Breathe back in the side lane says, cool, I did a bot. I'm going to go start doing a top. As now we're going to see a full engage. This time around, they're going to jump onto Ming. That is their target. But Shadow using that extra move speed to the greatest of advantages and just runs himself away. Look at the passive move speed on him right now, out of combat and just sailing away. It's almost like he has Mobies on himself with all that extra movement speed. Breed did TP in, but again, very difficult to really lock someone down. Photic does get himself caught up by the chain, as Dream hit by a W of the Zeri means he won't get his reset. And finally, will this tier 1 in mid go down? I don't think it will.
Gonna put some damage on it, but you can see RNG have realized looking for picks with the LeBlanc, playing towards side lanes with the Gwen is the route they have to go. It's gonna be a little bit harder now because Breathe not having that TP means that if he is the one who elects to catch and push sides, that they will be exploitable. Angel does have his, so there still is a member that you can allocate towards doing that job. And I mean, we'll be able to win out against Stream in the 1v1. Shouldn't really be able to do too much to Invincible. That one will just be a bit of a, you know, Ksante's going to absorb the damage, do his job, and then walk away from you. But point is, RG not having as many options with Breed not having that TP online.
Yeah, it's a little bit doing with a Cosmic Drive now picked up for Breed means that he's even scarier, if I'm being totally honest here. You can even see Invincible building up towards what I imagine is a... I can't even think about what that second magic resistance item would be. Maybe an Abyssal Mask, perhaps? Hard to tell. But needs more magic resistance, regardless of how he's going to try and deal with his bot side or even any side lane, to be perfectly honest, in the 1v1 against Breed. So you've got yourself the Gwen online. You've got plenty of damage on RNG, but NIP have proven it time and time again. When they find someone without a flash, without their summoners, or even without their Lulu to shield them, they can be deleted. So, NIP, it's all about finding your mark, preferably onto Gala, and getting him out of the fight. But he's now got himself a stopwatch as well. So 2 stopwatches available here for the side of RNG makes it so much more difficult for NIP to contest around these objectives like the Baron when they want to just hard engage.
Yeah, this is where RNG's comp thrives, is being able to play off of vision denial and again, use LeBlanc over walls, chunk them out, have breathe, kind of threaten off from another angle. NIP, they want to just run them down, have Shadow going first, delete Gala like we've seen time and time again. We do see, potential engage.
Ooh,
not
a lot of damage there on the Zhuo, but they destroy this Baron if they're left on it for too long. As you can see there, Invincible just trying to walk in to get some vision. Finally, Shadow drops down a ward, and RNG know they don't want to take that fight. I will say RNG only have the 1 super minion in that bot lane available to them, so they are going to lose pressure on that in a very short amount of time. And this is the game where, yes, they are ahead. Yes, they are looking stronger in that side lane. Finally, the Gwen is looking like it's going to be able to do something, but it's Angel getting caught out now without a Banshee. Finally gets hit up there, gets to flash away, and that Summoner's burned. But now you're on the wrong side of the map here as NIP, or maybe you're on the wrong side of the map here for RNG, because inside track is belonging to NIP.
There's also 2 ultis down. The 2 ultis you consistently use to try to pick off the enemy AD carry. The thing is, it won't matter if RNG aren't able to try to force anything during the time that these are on cooldown. So actually, NIP might just be able to walk away with the fact that they got a flash, and I mean, hell, we're already halfway up to Shadow's cease and desist being back online.
Oh, there's a flash in with the charm. Wei is dead. The TP coming in from Angel to make sure this Baron cannot be started and taken immediately.
Elder! Yeah. Elder's gonna be up in 35 seconds. Wei still won't be alive!
Yeah, you're gonna be looking for a lot of stalling coming out, but now RNG aren't anywhere near this Baron. Vision has been cleared fairly decently. There's still a couple of wards around the place here for RNG, but now we are going to see Breathe ignoring Invincible basically completely. He is ignoring the Ksante until eventually the all-out comes out, but it's going to be a Baron. The resets are going to come in. Breede's going to look to try and maybe take this, but yeah, he knows that the recalls are coming and he needs to be at this dragon in 2 seconds' time.
NIP, I think, doing a great job of not committing everyone to go for the recall. Like, you have Baron buff, bring someone mid, buff up that wave. Gargoyle Stone Plate now finished for Invincible.
Oh, they're looking for a TP. They're looking to try and catch him out on the side completely, and they should be able to do it. The redemption comes down just for a little bit more, and these staggered death timers means that RNG can't get themselves to a full 5v5. They can't even threaten with a flank. And that means that this is a very, very scary moment right now. It's still an Elder flip as they kind of jump back straight in onto Wei.
Not a flip anymore.
They don't flip anything because they're catching Gala out as well. He's trying to fight back with the Ghost as best as he possibly can. But Angel's just not a part of this. Angel hasn't been a part of this at all. And RNG are just getting destroyed. They're being pulled apart right now. And NIP, no playoffs, no pressure, no problem.
We've seen overextensions, people walking up alone to get vision like Wei in enemy jungle before, just constantly getting picked off by members of NIP, walking in solo, not really doing their due diligence. And Shadow now gonna just hunt down Angel. They're gonna be able to go for the end.
They're going to be able to end the game. That's it. That is going to be game 1 to NIP. It was slow. It was steady. There was definitely some mid-game blunders where the Gwen got out of hand. But NIP holding strong, having so many engaged tools, so many ways to make the fight happen in their favor. And they will take down RNG in game number 1. They'll lose Dream right at the end, but it doesn't matter. The result stays the same. And this is NIP looking cool, calm, and collected right now against RNG.
Yeah, as expected when you have like your 9th place going against your 14th place team, there were mistakes on both sides, but also good things to highlight, especially for NIP. The way that they were proactively like hunting down Wei in a lot of these situations in the early mid game, right? Like we saw Shadow constantly invade his jungle. He went with that Divine Sunder Revive build, knows he's winning in the 1v1, constantly having people like Dream hover around him, like chunking him out, making sure he's in a threat, taking away the Cyclone so it can't be used in team fights. Things like that were great. Like part of the reason why they won. The other part goes to like RNG and some of the mistakes. Again, I feel like some of the deaths for Breathe in top lane and insides. You're like, all right, that's kind of understandable, like the timing that they're playing with, or maybe the information, or you value more of like getting the wave pushed out, whatever it is. Some are like, all right, you just saw this guy here, the wave's in a fine spot, doesn't need to happen. And then a lot of times people just kind of walking and poking their head into the enemy jungle because RNG wanted to go for picks. They didn't have a lot of lockdown. A lot of it relied on like kind of just Angel being able to kill them himself, I guess. But like Wei goes into them and go, oh, he gets picked off. Oh, Breathe overextended on side. He gets picked off. And it's like, what do we do as the rest of RNG? But Angel not able to find an impact either. So kind of like a mixed bag for RNG, where it looked like with the comp that they drafted, they weren't very comfortable in trying to bring anything together. And the only thing they ever found was like, hey, we can pressure sides, but wasn't able to win the game.
Yeah, like an inhibitor, but then maybe they lost the Cloud Soul. And you just saw with the triple clouds how quick everyone became. All they had to do was ultimate, and their movement speed just shot through the roof. Like, it was insanely hard for RNG to actually lock someone down after that initial little bit of CC. And again, outside of the Cyclone, you just don't have CC, at least not the most instant type of CC, like a cease and desist, like a charm, like a quickness or a knockup coming out from Zhuo. So the gold graph kind of says it, very close, very close. RNG kind of take over, but then they just kept making mistakes, kept getting caught out, and just weren't able to make any of it really stick. Great from NIP, though, because I really do feel like they knew how their comp needed to function. They knew exactly what they needed to do in order to make sure they didn't get completely blown out of the water in that kind of mid to late game stage. And they just kept Invincible relevant in the 1v1 against Breed. They kept Breed honest, and it made sure that one time where Breed got the split push to get 2 towers and an inhibitor never happened again.
Yeah, again, I feel like they understood their win cons. They played around their Vine. They're already like, they didn't really need to rely on Photic as much, but he was still there, farming up, like dishing out the damage. And yeah, they went with a more simple route. They knew how to win. They played to that. They took advantage of RNG's mistakes. And we said NIP took down IG the other day. IG, sure, sitting under RNG, actually have a higher game win rate than, again, a lot of the teams over them. NIP have consistently been able to put up a fight against teams above them in the standings. It's just typically been about closing out series that they haven't been able to do. But potentially, they can do it today.
Yeah, that's quite possibly. We'll see if they're able to do it today or if RNG got anything